Hey guys, this is Andre, hope you're all doing well. In this video we'll talk about the hedgehog concept, a concept developed in the book Good to Great by James Collins, initially applied for companies, but it's also something that can be applied to our personal lives and can provide a different perspective in order to do things differently. Please take a minute to read the disclaimer, and if you agree with all the terms and conditions, let's go. This video will go pretty much like this. First, we'll talk about the definition of hedgehog concept, extracted directly from the book. Then we will illustrate it using WALGREENS hedgehog concept, a strategy the company used to go from good to great and yield more than 3 times the average market return over more than 15 years. Then we'll detail how to find the hedgehog concept that naturally comes from the answers to 3 main questions. And we'll finish the video talking about the dichotomy between mediocrity and greatness and how the hedgehog concept plays a role in all that. The hedgehog concept was defined by James Collins in his book Good to Great. Its basis is a story about the fox and the hedgehog. The fox spends a lot of energy and time trying to come up with different strategies to attack the hedgehog, whereas the hedgehog is able to focus all its energy into one single strategy to defend itself, and in the end the hedgehog always wins. In the contest of taking companies from good to great, the hedgehog concept is a main directive that will drive all the decisions of a company. And great companies will take a simple concept and implement it with fanatical consistency. In order to reach a hedgehog concept, you have to ask yourself and your company and its employees the questions: what, how much, why. The whole process requires introspection. It takes discipline and honesty to confront the facts. It is inherently an iterative process that will give you a lot of insight about your economic model, about what your company does best and does not do best, and about what is driven your economy, and also about the value of the company and its culture and motivations. Especially because the hedgehog concept is a very simple and clear concept, it usually takes a lot of time to come up with. So in the book Good to Great, the companies that went from good to great took on average 4 years to get to their hedgehog concept. But once they got there, they were able to implement it with consistency and finally yield great results. And to illustrate what a hedgehog concept looks like, we'll talk about WALGREENS and its transition from good to great. So back in the day, WALGREENS was kind of lost and they were starting to lose a lot of money, and their profits were not good and their stock returns were bad. So they decided to stop, think about what they are doing, and come up with a hedgehog concept. So this is what they came up with. They wanted to build convenient drugstores and steadily increase profit per customer visit. And the implementation of this concept led to the following changes. They decided to completely get out of the food business. I'm talking about around 1985, 1970 here, guys. They decided to open several stores close to each other, especially in busy cities, because they are aiming for convenient drugstores. They started a drive-through purchase system in which the customers did not even have to go into the company. They would just pick their orders in their cart. They started the concept of centralized databases and servers. So every location you visited was pretty much the same as the one closest to your house. They knew your previous orders, they knew your prescriptions, and they knew almost everything about you, so you didn't have to give all this information over again if you want to purchase your medicine while you are traveling to another state, for example. And they did not jump into the dot-com bubble right away. Even though at first they lost some revenues for companies like drugstore.com that started selling medicine online right off the bat when the internet was a big thing. On the contrary, Walgreens decided to wait. They decided to stop, see how online sales would fit into their hedgehog concept. And finally, once they had this clear view, they finally implemented online sales with an online website, and nowadays they are doing pretty well. This chart, extracted from the book Good to Great by James Collins, showed the Walgreens stock returns from 1975 to 2000. This is the cumulative stock returns of $1 invested in December 75, considering reinvested dividends and adjusted for stock splits. So if someone had invested $1 in Walgreens back in 1975, this $1 would be worth $562 in 2000. Now we can compare this return to different companies such as Intel, General Electric, Coca-Cola, Merck, and the general market. So talking about stock returns alone, Walgreens beats all these big companies and the general market by a huge margin. And this stock price increase reflects, among other things, the application of Walgreens' hedgehog concept, trying to build convenient drugstores and steadily increasing the return per customer visit over time. So many of us are not entrepreneurs and CEOs, so we don't own a company and we don't have this council of people to help in coming up with a hedgehog concept for a company and you know this huge thing. We can come up with a hedgehog concept for ourselves and for our own lives. So this would be a simple crystalline concept that will guide our life choices. And to come up with such concept, we have to answer the following questions. What is your greatest talent? Are you being well paid to do it? Are you passionate about doing it? The hedgehog concept directly flows from accurate and realistic answers to these three questions. So what can you be the best at? What is your greatest talent? What can you do better than anyone else? And on the other hand, what are you currently doing that other people can do better, and why are you doing it? Of course, when we're talking about our lives, it's not as simple, right? Sometimes we have to do many things because other people will not do that for us, and maybe it's not economically viable to pay other people to do it. So we have to do things even if we are not better than anyone else at doing it. But the point is, we are trying to talk about here the things that will generate some income. So what can make you money? You have to define yourself a ratio, profit per X. Find the denominator. Sometimes it's something very subtle. And which ratio has the greatest impact in your business? In the Walgreens case, they choose profit per customer visit and they decided to maximize it over time. Now you have to look into your business, you have to look into your finances and your skills and check what denominator, what X has the greatest impacts on your business, and you have to come up with ideas to change, to increase, to improve this X in order to maximize your profit. And by doing so, you gain a lot of insight into your economic model. And finally, what are you passionate about? But making money is only one part of the hedgehog concept. The other part is what are you passionate about? So you cannot manufacture passion. You can only find what ignites passion in yourself. And if you do something you're passionate about, you'll always be trying to do your best. Your passion will be your best motivator. Sometimes passion can be unrelated to the industry and the products your company produces, but related to the company's values, such as its culture and its purpose. Now, once you're able to answer these three questions, what is your greatest talent? What can you make money from? And what are you passionate about? You will finally be able to come up with your own hedgehog concept, which is the intersection of these three circles. The common area right there in the middle. Once you understand your answers and confront your reality and your facts, the hedgehog concept will flow naturally from the intersection of these answers. And in a way, the intersection will also generate something that initially seems like a really audacious goal, something that you will never be able to do it. But don't be afraid, because these goals are feasible but not easy. They will take hard work. They will take dedication, effort, and maybe some fanaticism to get there accomplished. You have to be willing to work hard to make these goals come true. Be sure that completing the goals that come out from your hedgehog concept will lead to greatness, not mediocrity. Keep in mind that these audacious goals may change over time given external circumstances, but your hedgehog concept will never change. The answers to the three questions that lead to your hedgehog concept will not change over time. The book Good to Great brings an interesting discussion about the conflict between mediocrity and greatness. First, there is the curse of competence. So a lot of people are competent in a lot of things. They can do these things well enough. But this makes people settle into something that they can do well instead of looking for something that they can do great. In these circumstances, the author encourages all those people to try to find their hedgehog concept, to try to answer those three questions. What can you do better than anyone else? What can bring you a lot of money? And what do you love doing? The second interesting topic is what can you be the best at versus what you shouldn't do. So the hedgehog concept will guide your actions and decisions towards what you can be the best at or what you are the best at. And according to the author, you should disregard everything else. Just don't do the things that you cannot be the best at, because you are bound to be mediocre at these things and this will not add you any value. But we know that reality is not that simple, so we have to be careful in choosing what we can do, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and what we can't do. And what if, after careful, honest, and disciplined analysis of the three questions, you come up with the following conclusion: you just cannot be the best at anything? If this happened to you, don't give up and have faith in the end game. Remember the Stockdale paradox from the book. You have to confront the facts and be honest about them, but you should never lose faith or lose hope in the end game. So you just keep looking and you eventually find something that you can be the best at. But keep thinking, don't be discouraged, and the more you think about, the more ideas you will come up with. This is an excellent opportunity for personal growth. And finally, why choose greatness? Why not be satisfied with being good at something? Why do you have to be great? So the author says that it's not as hard to build something great than it is to build something good. Because yes, it's true that turning something good to great takes a lot of energy, but the pleasure and satisfaction in seeing something that you are good at, that brings you money and that you are passionate about, turning great will add a lot more energy back into this energy pool than it takes out into building something from good to great. And also, once you start building something great, it will start to attract other people, and all these people will join their energy with you. So once you have built enough momentum, it gets that much easier and effortless. On the other hand, perpetuating mediocrity is an inherently depressing action, and it sucks all the energy without adding anything back. And if you are able to find something that you are really passionate about, that you really love, then you have no other choice. You don't want this thing to be good, you will want this thing to be great. You will not do it because of whatever compensation you get, but rather because it can be done. And this will be your mindset. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye bye.